Hello, and welcome to Casting Roles, a persistent D&D campaign played by a bunch of theater nerds. Thank you for joining us. Before we begin, just a few brief announcements. If you're enjoying the show, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you think you know someone who might enjoy the show, feel free to share it on social media. And you can find us over at Twitter at Casting Roles and on Facebook at Casting Roles ILM. And if you want to find one place where you can access all of our information, our past episodes, and other things, you can find our website at castrolls.com. Episodes will be here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and video uploads will be available on YouTube the Friday of the same week. But with no other announcements, let's go ahead and start the show. So, ticket takers. After celebrating the Day of Ascension with stories, almost joining a cult, and eating plenty of food, the full moon finally rose. Mar, feeling its pull, fled into the nearby woods where she underwent a transformation into her full werewolf form. The rest of the ticket takers, discovering her absence, went in search of her, only to find blood-soaked snow. Not knowing the truth of Mar's identity, the party rushed off following the trail as Mar found herself barreling through the forest following the need to feed. Soon, Mar
That's so bad.
I felt sick writing that. So
You should be ashamed of yourself.
That was like a punch to the gut.
Yeah. There was a second of reaction where it's just like, no, he didn't just say that. No. Yeah, he went there. So viewers, welcome to 2020.
Welcome to 2020. It's still going. 2020 is still going. All right. Soon, Mar came upon a slaughtered elk and ate her fill, only to discover that it was left behind by Hottie and Skull, mythic beasts of the Riverlands whose yearly dance heralded the arrival of spring. During the brief conversation after meeting them, Mar watched as, from the shadows, Skull was attacked by former members of the Slaughterers. Alone, Mar began to battle to protect the wolves, and eventually the rest of the TTC caught up and joined the fray. Seeing the tides turn against them, the Slaughterers threw out a device which opened a portal from which spewed a number of demons. Or devils, sorry. A hard-fought battle followed with several party members knocked out in the fray, and the wolf, Skull, nearly killed, but the ticket takers were able to protect the wolves and close the portal. In the aftermath, the rest of the group discovered Mar's secret, and a tense evening and morning breakfast followed. So ticket takers, with breakfast over on the dawn of your second week together as a group, and the rustling sounds of a nearby captive, what would you like to do?
I would like to question the captive.
All right, so you head over, and this is the cleric. So she's wearing armor, and she's got kind of her symbol and things there, and she's...
No, we took her symbol.
Oh, you did take her symbol, that's right.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of bound there and struggling a little bit, but you've bound her fairly tightly. So she just kind of looks up and says, what the fuck are you doing? Let me go.
Perhaps.
What?
Some questions first. Why were you attacking the wolves?
She kind of stares for a moment, realizing her plight. She just... It was a...
There's no one else left, by the way. So, it's your choice. Why did you attack the wolves?
Kite is dead.
Oh, very much so.
I think he bled out. It was weird.
She kind of silent for a moment, like a look of pain. Not asking about the dwarf, but definitely asking about Kite.
That makes me sad now.
It was just a job. The Adventurers Guild didn't pay or pan out, so we were looking for work, and we found it.
From who?
Some man, cloak, shaved side of his head.
Dear.
He's dead too.
So would he have gotten paid in the end?
No. It was a waste of time.
we didn't know what it was. He just said that there was a wolf in the woods that we needed to kill. That it was nothing, just a wolf hunting, and
Well,
had a
once you
device.
saw once you saw what it was, why didn't you change?
It was just a wolf. I mean, it's just a creature. Like we're hunters. That's what we do. People pay us to go and kill things.
Do wolves often have flames coming out of them?
I don't know. Weirder things have happened.
Or while you are hunting, why would you open a portal to a devil's realm and summon demons, devils?
We didn't know that was going to happen. Like he handed us the device and he said that once we kill the wolf and we should drop this device where they were, and then we could leave and claim our funds. I didn't know. I mean, I was just as terrified as anybody else would have been to see demons or whatever pouring out of a
Insight
portal.
check.
Okay, go ahead.
Don't trust for one moment. Does anybody have really high insight?
What'd you get?
I pressed it. An 11, 9 plus 2.
She's fairly upset. It's kind of hard to read. She sounds earnest.
Doesn't really have a reason to lie.
We don't. She's like patting, as she's bound, she's patting her side, and she realizes that her money belt is gone. You all took my money, I assume. You probably see how little that we had. We were banking on the Adventurers Guild job panning out. You all looked like you were not going to be much of a competition.
You were the first, but not the last, to underestimate us.
It seems so.
Kaimana, what do you think?
I think we should let her go. And follow
Can we
her.
just...
She say that out loud. Just follow her.
Follow her where, Kaimana?
Wherever she thinks she's going to get paid next.
Well,
She's going to want to know that they didn't succeed.
you said you killed the man who hired us. Like, what? There's no place to get paid.
That's what you're telling us.
Who do these woods belong to? Are they property of the Monastery of the Third Eye? I'm asking the group just in general. Or the DM, I guess.
What we know.
Let's see. Saurus wouldn't know. Kaimana wouldn't know. Mar, you're the only one from the Riverland area, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll a history check.
Okay. I don't know.
You're not sure.
No
I
idea.
got a 9.
Yeah.
Not my wheelhouse.
I mean, yeah. These are the. This isn't like a large enough plot of woods to be on the map, but the Riverlands has a lot of like forested regions that kind of are spread throughout the area.
Right.
This is the area north. It's near the monastery, but you don't know if it's on public land or private land or anything like that. So
I believe perhaps we should let the members of the monastery know what we witnessed and let them be the ones to pass judgment. They live the closest to the woods, and they know the story of Skull and Hardy. I believe that they should be the ones to decide what punishment, if any, this cleric should suffer.
is it a crime to hunt an animal?
A sacred animal, yes. I believe it would be since people
It is to the animal.
wolves. Says the talking author, yes.
I'm right here.
Yes, and you all ate bacon
mentioned
this
one thing.
morning. I assume that you feel very sorrowful about the pig that offered its life for you.
Alright, not all of us ate the bacon. Calm down.
Did I hear the story?
Yeah, you got it.
Yes,
Was
we were on
it was the song.
Okay, I know I missed one of the.
It was the song that My Alchemical Romance performed.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
You enjoy saying that every time, don't you?
I'm so proud of it. I really really wanted something else, but that was the first bard name that came to mind, and you know.
The same mind that came up with My Alchemical Romance wrote Need to Feed.
And
The
that's
duality of man.
They're all bangers, just like everything. It's fine. Look, the Need for Feed, that basically spawned an 8-movie like marathon version of this. So like, we're good.
Just Vin Diesel with a driving kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Guy Fieri's the villain.
Dungeons and Dragons and dive-ins and drives.
Flavor Town.
Yep.
Please tell me Flavor Town is a place in your setting, Josh.
I don't know. You have to see.
We have a new quest, everyone.
We gotta go downtown to Flavor Town.
The realm of Flavor Town.
Way down Flavor Town, way down under the ground.
All right. So she,
I would like to talk to everyone away from her.
Okay.
You'll wait for us if you don't mind.
I don't think I have much.
Oh,
She like moves in her binding. I don't have much of a choice.
Swallow step away.
Yeah, out of hearing. What do we think? Do we believe her?
Of course not.
No, it is. She may have been down on her luck, yes, but I believe she may be leveraging that to try to get away with a crime that she knew she may have known she was committing. I think we let the members of the monastery hear her side of the story and let them pass judgment.
If we're just tallying bodies, we're the bad ones here.
That's when we was trying to save the sacred animals of the forest.
Which are where right now?
They are free, alive. I'm sure they appreciate that.
So not available to testify that we saved their lives.
She hasn't disputed the fact that she tried to kill the 2 wolves.
Yeah, well, she's not the one we need to convince. It's the townspeople. And I'm just
There
saying,
is an alternative.
Maybe we shouldn't go back and say, yeah, we killed a bunch of people in the woods. They were attacking mystical wolves.
They were attacking our friend and mystical wolves.
Oh, right. Our friend, no offense, Mar. Our friend the werewolf.
I have an
Am I
alternative.
the only one who sees how this might be
You know,
perceived?
werewolf is actually, I would just like to come in. Werewolf's kind of a, you know, it's a misnomer, right? Not everyone's a wolf, you know? It's just kind of like whatever. I prefer the term lycanthrope. If we're going to get technical about it, just want to throw that
So
out
can you
there.
do that whenever you want?
Yeah.
Excellent. I have an alternative
No.
suggestion. I have an alternative suggestion for dealing with our guest. And it's not that one, so you don't have to worry, Kaimana. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. She's down on her luck, has no money. We hire her to work for us. She wanted to be part of the Adventurers Guild, so she can be Roland's
I think
secretary.
we killed her boyfriend, right? That seems to be what we've done here.
There's a chance, yes.
We killed her boyfriend.
Was she a cleric?
No,
of
he bled
the
out
dead?
while running away. I mean, it was very tragic. Who knows what could have happened?
He died of
Yes.
not knowing how to apply it.
One way to remember what happened.
But if she's having dealings with someone, we can keep an eye on her.
Are we willing to accept responsibility for any evil deeds that she may do if we set her free and hire her to work for us.
Well, if she's staying in Broadfield, and Roland keeps an eye on her because we point out to Roland that anything that she does will reflect badly on him, then that should keep her around the base. And we can have Roland keep an extra eye on her, so if she's meeting with anyone or doing anything suspicious, we can know about it. And if this was truly what she said, where they were just hungry and looking for work, then we shouldn't punish her for that. And we don't have to deal with the monks knowing about that we murdered people in the forest.
I don't dislike
Let's be real careful who use that word "we" around.
That is true. You were at the bottom of the lake.
Thank you. I was an accessory at the most.
And it was not premeditated, so...
It's hotter, man.
So who would like to present our argument or our offer to our guest?
No.
I think it would be the most coming from you, Saurus.
Yes, I believe you put it in very clear terms. Let's lay out her situation and let her know she does not have many other options.
Very well. So we go back over to her.
Straight over.
So have you decided to kill me then?
No, we decided to offer you a job.
A job? Doing what?
Yes. Working for us at the Adventurers Guild.
So
We put Rob meta question. The behemoth guy that was the leader of the slaughterers. What's his name?
Talvik.
Calvik?
Talvik, yeah. Or Tavik.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
We actually employed Tavik to do some work for us as well. This whole issue seems to have stemmed because you were desperate for work. This solves that. It's a steady gig. You'll be in town. You'll not be sleeping on the ground. And you did something that was bad. And this is a chance to atone for it and do good.
What kind of work are you suggesting that I do?
Well, Roland is... You've met Roland. He's very flamboyant. He's very outgoing. I wouldn't call him the most reliable. So, keeping the guild running as base camp, for example, there have been several requests for our assistants that have come in. So managing that. And if this is successful, the Adventurers Guild will grow. And there's potential for membership or running the operations. You could be our first expansion. You and Tarvik.
All right. Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
20, not natural.
All right. So she takes a moment and, bound as she is, she kind of relaxes a little and says, I've got nowhere else to go. I think there are worse ways that this could have turned out, I suppose.
Good. We're all in agreement then.
Will you untie me now?
Yes. And I do that.
Okay.
Just make sure we do not regret this decision.
She sits up and she's patting her things and she's like, can I have my belongings back? The symbol you took from me is very personal.
Yes, by all means. And I'll give her back her holy symbol and was it 10 gold, 15 silver. I'll give her back her monies as well.
Okay. I don't remember her having that much, but sure. Is that how much she had?
I tried to like separate them out when you were given like what was on the bodies that I searched.
Yeah, she might have had more than everybody else, and that's okay. So she takes it and she's looking at it and she's very thankful. And for a moment, she takes the symbol and she closes her eyes, and this bluish energy starts to kind of go,
Oh, no.
and you see the energy kind of enter into her. And there were a few places where she didn't really get a long rest because she was just unconscious, and so there's some of the wounds that she suffered close up, and she breathes a little bit easier. For a moment, she goes, "Thank you."
Great. We will see you back at the Adventurers Guild.
You.
I'll offer her some of my pocket bacon.
She takes it reluctant, like you're just letting me go. You're trusting me to go back.
Well, if you're going to be a reliable employee, we have to do that.
You are such
And
an
if not,
odd group.
Yeah.
can't argue that. No.
More odd than
But we
we.
keep getting underestimated, and I don't think you'll make that mistake again.
I think
I wouldn't
anybody who
advise it.
does would regret that decision. I didn't see. Did you all manage to close whatever portal that Caden opened?
Yes, we are no longer being beset by devils.
Good. That was.
And the wolves were saved, and spring will arrive on time.
What do you mean?
I explained about Hadi and Skull, and that these mythical creatures are in fact real, and had she done that, we would have been in the perpetual winter for a good 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's why we had to fight back.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like, sorry we killed your friends, but y'all were doing something really sketchy, really
Yeah.
super sketchy. You didn't mean to, but you still were.
Y'all were trying to kill Punxsutawney Phil.
100%. Punxsutawney
Don't drive
Phil.
angry.
I don't know if you trust anything I say, but I promise that I didn't know that any of that. It seemed like just another job.
That's why we're offering you another job instead of killing you.
Thank you. I'll take my leave of you then. She kind of gathers herself together, and you said Tovik is he in Broadfield now?
He went on an errand. He should be back either today or yesterday.
Yeah.
So he should be there when you get back.
Yeah, you guys weren't there, so you don't know if he returned or not. Okay. Thank you. And she kind of walks off in the direction of the monastery and then to the road. And you see her after a little bit kind of disappear from view, heading south in the direction of Broadfield.
Which is north of. Sorry.
Did we get her name?
Sora, right?
Yes. I don't know. You might know that because I said it during the fight.
I don't think we asked for her name, is
No,
what I'm saying.
But at the slaughterers when we were competing
Yes.
against them,
Yeah.
they announced
Okay, we
Yeah.
have that
versus.
knowledge, yeah.
Yeah.
So where Grace, Ronnie, Rob, and Atwood may have forgotten, our characters heard it only 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It wasn't that long ago.
That's if I
Yeah.
would have forgotten it.
Neither Atwood nor Kaimana know.
Kaimana forgot Saurus's name when he was being interviewed by Jonathan, so
Kaimana. I'll turn to Kaimana and I say, I know all of this death has been a heavy toll for you. Do you want to maybe say a few words for the lives that were lost in the woods last night? Just as a sign of respect.
Yes.
Okay. I'll hold my hand out if he wants to take my hand. And we'll just a few moments of silence. I forgot the name of my god.
Metasansi, his party or their party was yesterday.
I know. I forgot it.
It's been a long week, Josh. Work with us.
Oh, I didn't have a nap. I got turkey chonga in me, man.
Oh Lord.
No.
Kamana's just waiting with his hand out.
Okay, I just rolled a natural 1. This is not going to be good on this. I'm not that D20.
This guy might have just put Paul down.
Okay, I'll just say like a little prayer for the people who have fallen to Metasansi and ask her to guide their souls to the, or ask them, I'm sorry, to guide their souls to the afterlife in peace and harmony. Amen. That's it. That's all I got.
What's that last thing mean?
It's a New Avian thing. Do not worry about it.
Okay.
Okay.
It was okay, I guess.
Would you prefer to say something?
Yes. It's, oh. I can't. Oh.
May your corpses feed the animals with which you tried to kill.
Oh, that seems more like a threat.
It's a promise.
Yeah.
It is a very souvenir way to look at death.
I mean, we didn't even bury them. They're just out there.
Well, make it
Rotting.
easy for animals to find their corpses to feed on.
Exactly. That's why I said something.
Okay, good point. Good point. Oh, okay. I'm going to head back towards the monastery.
All right, so Abel just walks away from the group.
I am done with you.
Yeah. Anybody else cleaning up your area and your campsite? So just as a kind of a thing, you know that in 2 days or so, let me see. Let me check the calendar. Yeah. So today and tomorrow, you kind of are just open time, and then on the next day after that is when the representative from the guildmaster from the capital will be coming to Broadfield to establish the Adventurers Guild officially. So between now and then, you guys have kind of some open time and potential for downtime activities, potential for any kind of things that you might want to take care of in that 2-day time period, whether you want to go off and travel or do some research or train with your monk friends or whatever you might be interested in do. All right, you got some potion things you want to do. Anybody else like thinking about downtime activities? About 2 days of time, so like Kaimana, you could make 2 potions in that time for sure.
Who grabbed the spell book from the one guy?
Caden's spellbook.
Yeah, somebody picked up a spell book off of someone.
Who looted? Did Saurus loot Caden?
No, I didn't loot anybody. I was unconscious.
Then it was you, Abel, because Mar.
I got knocked unconscious as soon as I killed Caden.
Yep.
Did I pick up a spell book? Okay, I want to read his spell book.
Yeah, you were looting the bodies. Is very practical. Source approves. Has everyone left the monastery? So the Starfall people, are they gone? Is the artificers gone? Are there still remnants of them hanging about?
Okay, so you guys are kind of looking around and checking things out. So just Saurus, roll a general investigation check as you're looking for people.
Can I help?
Sure.
Alrighty.
Assistance.
Investigation 15.
Okay, so looking around the grounds, today is kind of like teardown day. So there's a lot of, like the monastery people are taking down tents, taking down the lights that they hung up. They're doing all these kind of things. The Halls of Origination people are still there. They're kind of gathering all their things together, and they're loading up some carts that they're gonna, go on their kind of journey to head back home. So they're still there. The Starfall people apparently left in the middle of the night. No one has seen them. Like in your investigation, you kind of ask around. Their tent was gone when everyone woke up the next morning, and no one has seen them.
I knew
That's
it.
not sketchy at all.
While we asked around, did anyone notice any members of the monastery missing, or anyone claiming that I came here with my cousin and I can't find him now?
Let's see, it's early-ish in the morning. A lot of people are still sleeping because they did bust out the alcohol the night before. Of the people that you talk to, no one mentions it, and they're a little like, "Why are you asking?"
I'll just say
Especially the monastery people that you ask are like, "Why is that something we should be worried about?"
I'll tell them the Starfall tent was very suspicious. We went there and they tried to cast a spell to influence our minds.
They got me.
They got my.
Well, you're still
Yeah.
here. You're still here, so maybe
Well,
We
it was
were able to free her from the spell.
I'm very mentally strong.
okay. Well, that's concerning. This is a random monk. I'll pass that information along, and we'll keep a word out in case somebody does show up missing. We might know where to look.
Yes. Okay.
Did you want to do anything with the Halls of Origination people, Saurus?
I wanted to stop by and see if anything was still out, basically, because that's the one tent I didn't get to look at. So.
Oh yeah. So when you get
It was amazing.
when you get to the tent, they've put away all the displays that were inside, and they're in the process of taking the tent down. But all of the kids, they're all about Abel's age, so they're like 17, 18. They're helping take down the tent, but their stuff's put away. Yeah.
Okay. Does any of them ask about my pistol? This is a very roundabout way of me asking something.
Okay, go ahead and roll an insight check. Because none of them directly ask, but...
Insight, 21.
21. So you don't... Nobody, comes around and is like, what is that? But you do notice the older gentleman, he is kind of eyeing... not looking at you weirdly, but he does he's glanced at your hip a few times.
I go up to him and ask if he would like to see it.
Oh.
I've noticed you looking.
Sorry, my mind went somewhere else. Oh God, it's getting worse.
Not that kind of
rash.
Not that kind of show. Hey.
No, it is.
Yeah, we've established it is.
So he says, "Sorry, I didn't mean to pry at all. It just."
Oh, it's okay.
I
I'm
don't.
used to people not I'm used to people looking at it because it's something new and different.
All of this is now wrong. Thank you, Ronnie. Yes, I would love to. I don't. It's an interesting design. Don't tell me what it is. And he's kind of looking at it and examining. He looks down the barrel. He kind of looks at the flash pan.
I wouldn't do that.
He's
looking down the barrel.
He smells it, and he's like, "That's black powder. This is a weapon of some kind, but it explodes."
The explosion propels a lead ball out the open end that strikes with considerable force. Does quite a lot of damage.
He's looking at it.
It's like an arrow, only it's a small lead ball, and you can't see it because it moves too fast.
He's like, so you light this fuse, and then it hits this pan, and that causes. It's interesting. Can I see one of the projectiles?
I pull out, and basically I have the way I've envisioned this working is like 1776. You know, the paper cartridge.
Yeah.
Where you've made little paper and you bite the end off of it and dump it in and tamp it down and all that kind of stuff.
He's looking at it and he kind of analyzes. He's like, "This is a genius design." I'm going to say that it bears a resemblance to some of the working bears a resemblance to somebody that I know.
And who might that be?
well, we share the same last name, but only because we're from the same guild. His name's Phileas.
Your intuition is correct.
Phileas, you say?
When did you last see him?
A month ago, perhaps.
Well, I thought Phileas was dead.
He was indisposed. I helped solve that problem, and he gifted me this. It's
So,
his story to tell, so I won't go into more detail.
were you in the capital then? Were you in Alyria?
Yes.
You were in
And we
Alyria?
were in Hightower. We were in Hightower.
Oh, he was in Hightower. Well, he hasn't left Anavir in years. And then he disappeared, and everyone thought that he was gone. But he disappeared over 2 years ago. Interesting.
Yes, that would be about right.
Well, it's good to hear that he's fine. You said Hightower. We'll pass near there. We might as well stop in and see if I can find him. Do you know where in Hightower I might be able to locate him?
I do not.
Okay. Well, I'll ask around. He's
I do tell him that basically, I'm from the monastery and we interacted there, so there
Okay.
might be a lead there.
All right. Yeah, I'll ask at the monastery. Thank you. That's so odd. Small world, as it were. But this is ingenious design. It could use a few improvements, I think.
Anything in particular?
Well, I'm just.
And is Ronnie is Abel there too, or is Abel doing something different?
Sure, I'll tag along
Okay.
this.
Well, I'm just imagining there might be ways to increase the range. I don't know how far it fires. Is it a long range?
It will go a decent range, but not very accurately after a short distance.
Oh, it's interesting. There's probably a way to stabilize the projectile, kind of, in the way that the right feathers will stabilize an arrow shaft. Although that's weird. It's interesting with a lead ball how you might do that, but I imagine it has something to do with how it leaves the barrel.
This
Any
man's
ideas,
name is
Abel?
Claude Meunier.
Well, there's and
what?
he's thinking, and he's like, the Halls of Origination has designed cannons that use a very similar structure, but not at this small compactness. We've experimented with barrel shapes and barrel lengths. If you ever make it to the halls, I train. I'm the teacher. I'm not so into the research side of things, but there are those at the halls who are researching things like this. So it might be potential.
Basically, with him describing this, Abel is able to understand this and be potentially something he could work on later.
This is language that Abel would absolutely understand. Noavians have not developed firearms, though, but cannon work, yes. So there might be elements of Noavian cannon technology that he could figure out to incorporate into reworking something like this. It would be a test
Cool.
case, and it might break. So it's definitely up there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's that was what I was after.
Yeah. Yeah.
But didn't want to specifically say it.
Yeah. Yeah. I would
Forest.
imagine that the one that built it, if I know Phileas and if he's still creating, he's probably made 37 new designs since he gave you that one.
I would hate to trouble him, though. But perhaps we'll cross paths. It would be nice to see him again.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's always nice to see new technology or new designs. And then he turns and he starts guiding his individuals to put things together. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
What was the last name?
Easy, Grace.
I'm sorry, Ronnie really got me on that track.
Volt switch.
Yeah,
Switch.
Volt Switch, and yeah, and the one that the name that he said that Saurus recognizes was Phileas.
Okay, I got that. Still, I can't remember the last name. I think I had it written down.
Yeah, and
So as
he
we're-
said it was
I'll
a it's a guild name.
Okay. Cool. As we're walking out, I'll tell Soros like I'll be more than happy to work on the gun with you. We could make it a project that we do together.
Excellent. That could be very useful.
Speaking of, and like right outside the tent, I'll plop down and I'll pull out my bag of holding and I'll reach inside and I'll hand him the gauntlet that I worked on.
Okay.
Just one. It's just one of them, right?
Yeah, you only had the power cell for one.
Yeah. I'll hand him
And
the.
what is oh, cool. What does the gauntlet do?
Well, our DM will give it to you.
Yeah, I will send you it to you in just a minute, Rob. I just have to make a thing. There is a slight change to it just because I designed the item with both gauntlets in mind. So I'll talk to you about how to shift it if you want to use it with just the one gauntlet. But
Okay.
I'm gonna send it to you in just a sec. As soon as I figure out how to save the screenshot that I'm trying to take. Oh, there it goes.
Okay.
Oh Lord. Yeah. So I'll give him the one gauntlet, I guess, since I didn't have enough of the crystal to do both of them. And I'll tell him that I think this would be useful for you in battle. And after hearing your story that you told the head of the monastery, Vatorum,
Vitorum, yeah.
Vatorum, I want you to give this to you and let you know that I'm sorry for what you have suffered. No living creature should be unmade and remolded the way that items and technology is. I want you to take this gift as a sign of my respect for you.
Thank you.
So I could only get one of the gauntlets to work. I am not a master gem cutter, so I don't know how powerful the crystal that's currently in there will be.
All right, you should have it now, Rob. If you.
Yep. Ba-da-da-da-da-dum. Okay.
Thanks, dear. Oh, I'm not supposed to sing that song.
So basically, since you only have one gauntlet, instead of both attacks having the ability to have like both attacks would have their separate charge. So you'd have you'd have 8 charges technically. You only have 4, and so you can only use it on. You'd have to like call like that. Your first attack each round would be your lightning attack if you decided to.
Okay, I'm gonna use it on my bonus attack or whatever.
Yeah, just know that it's like kind of like Mars lightning, that it's focused on one weapon. Eventually, he does. Well, I mean, he mentioned that he had a second gauntlet. So eventually you could potentially have both, but yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So just give. Oh, I guess I'll give you both of them, and you can hold on to them, and we can find someone who can do better crystal work, maybe.
You did not rework the second gauntlet.
Oh, I didn't?
No, you only spent time because you rebuilt the gauntlet. You spent like 5 or 6 hours rebuilding the gauntlet. The second one's not rebuilt. I mean, you can give it to him, but it's not a rebuilt gauntlet.
Well, now I'll keep it then.
Okay.
So the one that you. Okay, it's not my thing. I'm not going to scrutinize it too much. I don't need to understand it.
What did I do? Did I send the wrong one?
No. I was just trying to like straighten out in my head, but it's not going to be my attack, so it doesn't matter.
My mental image of this is the power fist that Shuri has.
That's good. In my head, what I see is the Equalists gauntlets from the Legend of Korra, but the power thing from Shuri's also works too.
Okay. Oh, can I have the Hall of Origination people look at the device, the portal device? and give me their opinion on it. So can I go to the trainer, Mr. Volt Switch,
Mm-hmm.
and ask for a few minutes to see if he can give me any idea of maybe if he knows where this device would have originated from, people who specialize in building these types of portal devices to the devil plane, or
So you can. Oh, my Noavian friend, it's good to see you again. You hand over the device, and he's. This is interesting construction. This is a mess. It broke. Are all the parts here?
I believe I retrieved all of the parts
Okay.
from the battle.
He kind of lays it out, and he's like trying to see how things are pieced together, and he's like, "This is just shoddy craftsmanship."
So it is not the work of a master builder.
No, I would say that this is like pirate artificing at best. Who did these
Literally
solders?
pirates?
This isn't soldered properly at all. And you said it opened a portal.
Yes, it opened a portal and devilish creatures came forth.
He's looking around, and like finally he looks like kind of on the interior, and there's like places where there are kind of crystals, not Zephyrsite crystals, but there are crystals on it. And then when he kind of turns on the inside, he notices like that there was a compartment that has shattered. There's like a glass compartment on the inside, and he kind of looks, and as he tilts it, like a little bit of this like liquid comes out, and as it hits it on the ground, you see it's this metallic colored liquid that kind of rolls around where he put it, and he touches it for a second, and he's like, Quicksilver. There's only one mine in all of Alyria that mines Quicksilver. I don't know if that might help you.
What mine is that?
It's Feldspar.
Feldspar mine. FELDSPAR?
Yep.
Mine. I put mime. Okay, sorry. Okay.
But I don't know how this would have worked. They're somehow using, it looks like the placement of the orb that held the Quicksilver, it is central, so I assume they're using it as some kind of catalyst for whatever magic this is supposed to do. But if it opened a plane to the Hells, that's shadow work for sure.
Does anyone come to mind who would have the knowledge to create this type of portal that you could think of in Alyria, or anyone who would want to create this type of portal?
I would say that these types of portals would have been very common during the subversion. None of those individuals would still be alive. They would either have gone onto the Veil and joined their master in whatever eternal darkness that they decided to establish. But we haven't. I don't think they've been the works like the Devils in the Riverlands. Probably not in 200 years.
Okay. I appreciate your keen eye in helping me to discern what I have here. Thank you very much.
I wish I could offer you more, but yeah. It's hard to tell with it broken and with it being such crap work. But you know,
you've been a very big help. Thank you.
Thank you. And he goes back to trying to pack up.
Yeah, leave me alone now. And I'll go out and I'll relay what I learned to whomever I can in my group that I can find outside the tent. Saurus
is definitely with you. Yep. Mar, what are you up to while they're all doing this?
I do want to send a message to what's my mentor's name?
Kalliana. Or
Yes.
Callian. Mm-hmm.
Callian, yes. I want to
So
message
guess
her.
what happened?
No, I want to go.
You'll never believe. Okay.
I'm gonna go.
20 words.
Sup.
20 or 25?
It's 25.
It's
I wrote this
25,
down.
yeah.
Give it to me. Okay. You
I've
ever
watched it.
hear story of Hardy and Skull? Met them, wild. Stopped folks from killing them. Opened portal of devils. Sound familiar?
Nice.
A moment passes, and it's good to hear from you. I'm glad to know that you are safe after the full moon. You opened portal to devils? Is that what you said? Haughty Skull, yes. I do know them. Keep in touch.
God, I hate her.
25 words. She doesn't like.
No, I'll get back with her
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I was like,
No.
that misplaced verb placement. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Opened portals.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because I had to cut the word they. So it really did a number on me. But I wasn't willing to let go of wild, which was in the middle of there.
Also,
That was
sup was super important.
important. Yeah. What am I going to do? Not greet her? Just be like, hey, you heard of these people? Okay, bye.
On brand.
Yeah.
All right. Kamana, what are you doing while they're all handling business?
Getting my herbalism kit set up.
Okay. So you kind of look around and ask around. There is actually there is a lab on the area, and just kind of somebody sees you setting up like your kit and your cauldron and all this kind of stuff, and they're like, that's probably not the best place to do that. If you go, and he points in Legion direction, and you head back into an area behind the main training hall, and it's a smaller building, stone construction with a chimney with smoke coming out of it, and you open the door, and there are 3 or 4 monks inside, and they are all doing the same thing that you're planning on doing.
Yes. Hello. May I use your facilities?
Oh, hi. Thank you. Yes. Open space, and he kind of points and he says, "That zone over there. Devon drank a little much last night and has probably will be sleeping in today. But you're more than welcome to use his space. Let us know if you need
Good for
anything."
him.
And he kind of guides you. And there's a simple spot that has kind of the basic tools that you might need for brewing potions. But there's a space there available for you.
Yeah. Do you have a stool?
Oh, yeah. He pulls a chair over in your direction, and he pushes it up that you can jump up onto.
Yes.
And what kind of potions are you looking to brew?
Healing potion.
Just 2 standard healing potions?
2 standard healing potions.
Okay, so it'll take 2 days, but so you can start one today, and then if you guys continue to do this downtime, you'll be able to do another one tomorrow.
Yes.
And standard price is 50 gold, but as long as you have 25 gold, you can. They'll let you procure some of their materials, and so 25 gold to cover 1 healing potion, and over the course of the next 8 hours, you are brewing that.
Yes.
Good. And there's a couple of moments where they're kind of watching you work, and they're like, "That's interesting. You're using the seaweed in such an interesting way. Like, why? Can you explain the purpose of that?"
Oh, because I can snack on it while I'm working.
That's brilliant. And you see him like he's been like crushing up small beetles and putting it into his potion. He's like, "That's a much better plan than the beetles. Thank you." And so like you see a couple of them trying to play around with the seaweed appropriation and then like snacking on it, and you start a little bit of a trend among the researching potion masters of the monastery.
Do I need to roll?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an intelligence and add your proficiency as well.
Let's see. with my proficiency.
Yes, because you are proficient in stuff. Yeah.
That is a 9.
A 9. So it takes you a little bit longer than you think. But when it's done, you think that it's still going to be an effective potion, but it does take about 2 extra hours. So it's a little. By the time you're finished watching it and done, this day will have kind of gone into late evening. So, all right.
Yeah, on healing.
Yeah. So Kaimana's day is focused on that. Saurus, what are you doing after you talk to the Halls of Origination peeps?
I'm gonna go train.
All right. So you find Herman, and he's just finishing up his morning training with the Utes, and he says, "Oh, Saurus, it's good to see you again. Are you back for? You do have some time to begin your training today."
Yes.
Good. And so, as we said, that he offers you the
Extract
aspects, and you can choose which one of the thing, because for the first 2 days of training, it would take you to be able to learn one of them. So, immunities or resistances or vulnerabilities.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see.
Damage vulnerabilities, damage resistances, damage immunities,
and condition immunities. Yeah. So which one would you like to learn for the first bout?
Damage vulnerabilities.
Vulnerabilities. Okay. Go ahead and roll a 2 checks. Roll just a basic intelligence check, and then a dexterity check, adding your proficiency bonus.
Okay. The white and red source die is the dexterity check, and the other red dice is the intelligence check.
Okay.
I mean, we can't
Intelligence is a 9.
Okay.
And dexterity, did you say with proficiency?
Yes.
15.
15. All right. So kind of in the same vein, but thanks to his help and assistance, you don't fail at grasping the concept, but it will take a little bit more time. So, like saying like you go late today and then you go later the next day. Thankfully you didn't hit the point where you would get a point of exhaustion. But you are still able, over the course of the next 2 days, you are able to learn the damage vulnerabilities aspect of extract aspects, and the training is really interesting. There's a couple moments where he has a ring, and you see him kind of take it off, and he runs through it, kind of shifting it, and you see that there's like 2 like bands on it that are separate from one another, and when he turns them, there's different like runic symbols that seem to kind of like form different words depending on how he turns it. And when he puts it on, he has you attack him and then hit the flurry of blows. And for the first couple times, you're like, you don't understand what he's doing. And then finally there's a moment where almost like frustration kicks in, and like that drive of your ki hitting him, you feel the energy leave your body, and you're like, holy crap, like there goes like the energy. But then like that instinctual nature of pulling it back in, and then you immediately register like fire, like,
okay.
And so like
cool.
he's vulnerable to fire, and then he shifts the ring again, and he takes you through another practice, and then it's cold, and he's kind of using you beating the crap out of him as a way to quiz him on whether or not this is sticking.
Yep.
Over the course of the next 2 days, then Saurus, that's your kind of training of what you're able to do.
Great.
Abel, how are you going to spend the downtime?
I have a new spell book I want to look at.
Okay, go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
Arcana. Pretty proficient. 14 plus 6, 20.
So easy enough. You are familiar enough with wizard class spells that a lot of this looks very familiar to you. You see some basic spells that you are familiar with. Hold on, let me pull up his spell list. So Firebolt, immediately you read and you're like, know this one. doesn't
Yeah, think?
doesn't work, but I know it. You also kind of, as you're reading through the language, the arcane language, and the second spell in the list, it's Ray of Frost, and then which is another spell that you like your trainer offered you when he was teaching you basic level spells, and that's not one you chose to kind of go with. Then the next one is it's a little bit, you don't know the name of this spell, but you recognize it as the spell that he used that sent 3 kind of arcane bolts that attacked Skull. And then the last spell is a little bit more complicated, and you get the sense that there's definitely a lot of fire base with this, that it's a multi-attack spell of some kind, but you could spend some time potentially in kind of working out how to use it.
Multi-attack fire-based spell.
Yeah. Again, you don't know that, like, he named all his spells like something that was his wizardy way of talking about the spell, so the name doesn't give it a lot of
Big B's grasping fist.
Yeah, it doesn't give it a lot of whatever, but you get the sense from reading it. It's a fire-based spell, similar to the other spell, where it has a multi-attack with the same spell, and so it's kind of got those elements.
Okay, yeah, I'll spend some time trying to decipher or see what actually the spell will produce.
Okay. Now, so for you,
Scorching Ray. I have Scorching Ray if it's that.
it is Scorching Ray, yeah. Oh, then you would know Scorching Ray. Sorry, I didn't think you took Scorching Ray.
I probably don't have it. What is that? What level spell is that? I don't remember.
Scorching Ray is level 1.
I think I did take it.
Okay.
Oh no, maybe not. But I can prepare different spells every long rest.
Yeah, and you recognize that. I mean, Ray of Frost is one that you have access to through your right cantrip, right?
I'm basically a wizard already.
Right, which is why you're able to read this. Because if it was a book of druids, druid spells, that would be written in a language or in a way that you wouldn't understand.
Okay.
So the opportunity is there for you to potentially gain access to one of the spells. However, it is a costly process. It takes about 4 hours per spell level. So a cantrip would take 4 hours. A level 1 spell would take 8 hours, and it costs 100 gold.
Jesus.
Because it requires you to, because as an artificer, you're having to figure out the ways to imbue this into some kind of object of some kind. So it's paying for the materials and the elements that you would need in order to imbue that elemental essence into a spell that then you could cast using your arcane focus.
I assume also there's some trial and error.
Yes, and so
Just on the error.
Yeah, so I mean, the end result is you've spent 100 gold to do it. So if that's something that you can do now, then that's great. But if it's something like you want to do over the course of time, we could say that you spend the 8 hours needed to figure it out, and then when you gain access to the materials, then we can put it in place.
Actual testing of the spell.
Mm-hmm.
I want to check just one thing really quick. I get Scorching Ray. It's a second level spell. I get that one already.
Oh, okay, yeah, second. So Magic Missile, I think, is the only one that does not open to artificers normally. So.
Yeah. So
I hate that they nerfed it.
Yeah.
How long? What was the original?
More powerful.
You got one every other You got a Magic Missile every other level. So first level you started with 1, third level you had 2, 12th level you had 6.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Fireball and Cone of Cold. They used to get a 6-sided die per level.
Yeah.
So a 12th level wizard is casting a 12d6 Fireball instead of a 6d6 Fireball.
Yeah.
What level is magic missile?
That's a first level spell, so it'd take 8 hours.
Cool. I'm gonna take the time to try to discern what components and how I can turn this into a spell for myself.
All right, so over the course of the next 8 hours, Abel finds himself a nice corner, takes out some really nice paper, starts drawing up schematics for a new design, and a lot of crumpled up paper tossed into a close by fire later. 8 hours passes, and you have a beautifully designed and artistically constructed schematic for the element that will connect to your arcane focus, and you think create this spell in the same way that a wizard would normally cast the spell.
So I still need to.
It still costs you 100 gold to get the components. Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Sounds fair.
Good. Mar, since all your friends have found things for the next couple days, how are you spending the next 2 days?
Here's the thing. I also have an herbalism kit and proficiency.
Uh-oh.
So I want to try to also
Bake
make
off!
potions.
It's today on the Great Potion Bake Off. we would like you to make croissants.
There's nothing I can do to like go level up as a blood hunter, so I might as well do something useful. Yeah.
I just
I'm
see
going to try
Kaimana making
a
healing.
savory nori and crab cake sponge.
Yes, delicious.
I see
I hope I
Kaimana.
don't overproof it.
Yeah,
making-
I'll go hang out with Kaimana and just do some casual potion making.
All right, buddy time. So you get there, and like the acumen are very welcoming, and they're like, well, we don't have a lot of space, but and then one of them like goes outside and grabs like one of the tables that people use to kind of eat on, and they set it up in the corner, and they're like,
Oh, you didn't have to. Oh, thanks.
well, we didn't want you to have to carry it. It's fine. We've enjoyed Kaimana's company, so surely his friends will also be good company. They were disappointed, but then.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's unfortunate that they think that.
But
I
they
talk enough for the both of us. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they offer you a space, and there's and with proficiency in the kit, you can construct a potion for half the price. So same thing, 8 hours for standard healing potion if that's what you want.
Please tell me you're making a poison or something, because I just picture Kaimana healing potion and Mario sparks.
I mean, here's the thing. I also have proficiency in alchemist supplies, but I just don't have a kit for it, so we'll get there.
Well, technically, like this space has it available.
Oh, wait a minute. What can I make? Hold on. Let me look something up here, gang.
Oh.
That's the Mar we know and love.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Because this space is, I mean, it's a full laboratory, so you have it available
What can
for
I
you.
make with alchemist supplies?
Let's see.
No, not fire.
Alchemist Fire is a good one.
Which you guys have some, but I don't know if
We still have a couple of flasks. She could make more. I don't think I've used my flask yet.
I'm gonna make acid. Can I make acid?
Which
Cool.
kind?
the good kind, of course. All right, let's see. So it crafting for acid. Let me just double check the price of acid really quick. Whoops.
Yeah, what's acid going on the market for these days?
Again, as Kamana said, the good kind or the other kind.
That's
The fun kind, and I'll let you determine what I mean by that.
And go ahead and roll an intelligence check and add your proficiency bonus while I'm looking up the cost.
I will say, Kamana can make acid with his alchemy jug if you want to try something else. But I'm not trying to discourage, but.
Let Mar do her thing.
Let me make acid.
Just in case we forgot.
I just want to know that I can. What am I adding to this? I'm so sorry.
Intelligence and your proficiency.
Okay. 22.
Okay, 22, which is good because technically acid takes 5 days to make. But with a
Okay.
roll of 22, I'll say that in the 2 days or so that you have, that you are efficient and you have the acumen there assisting you and kind of like, oh, I wouldn't mix that. That would be an explosion. And they're kind of like guiding you. And so you're able to cut a little time off of it, but it still is the full cost.
Yeah,
So it's
sure.
25 gold pieces for
Okay.
the acid. Yeah.
Cool.
Stuff is
I just see Mar when the guy says that could explode. Mar writing that down. As an option in the future.
Making a
Next
mental
time. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, because you guys chose to work in the laboratory and not somewhere else, the DC was lower, and also the time spent was a little bit lower, thankfully. All right.
Oh, you should know.
I just need something for me whenever it's like, uh-oh, they're immune to physical damage, and I'm like, well, I have nothing.
Yep. At some point over the course of those 2 days, like the monastery is opening for you guys, so you can choose to walk home to Broadfield that night and sleep at the Golden Ass Tavern, or you can stay at the monastery. It's completely up to you. But at some point in the course of those 2 days, Source, as you're training with Herman.
And I do want to actually have a couple of conversations with some of the other players at some point during this.
Yep.
But please can.
Yeah, I'll open it up so you guys can have all those conversations. But as you're training with Herman, there's a moment where Herman, you kind of take a break, and Herman's like, that one has been staring at you for quite a while, I think. So let's just take a quick breather, and please, he's making me nervous. And you turn around, and standing in the corner is just like really like tall and weirdly feeling out of place is Tavik, and he's kind of standing there, and he's got a barrel under his arm, and he's kind of motioning like.
I go over to him.
Why would you send Sora to come stay at the Golden Ass Tavern? She is crazy. She hates me.
Well, that was so we would know where she was to keep an eye on her. That she couldn't harm others.
It was a very uncomfortable lunch. I was eating my fish in peace, and then she slapped me in the back of the head, and I almost choked and died.
1 star.
Don't be dramatic.
I am sorry.
Is she working with you now?
She will be doing some work for the guild, and we will find work for you with the guild, and we shall make sure that you do not work together.
Am I in charge, or do I have to listen to her?
You'll be doing different things, so you should not have to listen to her.
Okay, thank you.
Unless it's like a roomie.
So he pulls out and he hands over to you this small keg size miniature keg, and he says, "This was all they would part with, but I got you your blasting powder."
Great. And I promised him 10 more gold, I believe.
Yeah. Yes, you gave him the gold to purchase it, and you promised him 10 gold when he returned.
Great. I pay the man.
Thank you. I am going to go hide from Sora. If you need me, find me. And he just kind of turns and walks away in his hulking Goliath way, but a little bit cowed from where he normally carried himself. All right.
What is his class?
You've never fought him, so you wouldn't know. He carries a very, very large axe on his back, but other than that, you don't know.
Like a barbarian or something?
You don't know.
Okay.
All right. So during the downtime, you guys are all working, of course, but there's opportunities for you to converse and have conversations. So anybody who met up and wanted to talk or spoke over dinner or anything like that, this is an opportunity for that.
Hey, Ma.
Yeah.
Just want you to know that we're all here for you.
Thanks.
You were lost, but now you're found.
All right. Don't. Don't
and
do
you're
this.
hungry like the wolf.
Oh my goodness.
You know, the wolf jokes got old about like 5 days into this. So
Sorry,
Man.
but
No,
they're not
it's-
going to be stopping.
I know. I know.
But we appreciate what you do, and if you need help, we're here for you.
No, I'll be fine. It's been a while, so used to it.
Pass me the sulfur. You have any over there?
Yeah, there you go.
Thank
Like one of those like sulfur. Who you put sulfur in a healing? Like like what are you doing? Like they're very interested in your conversation. Thankfully, with they were listening. Rolled a 2 on perception, so did not hear you making wolf jokes about Mar. So
It's just a song I heard.
Don't they take like a vow of silence or something at the monastery?
not this monastery. They've all talked to you.
All right, anybody else, or should I go next?
Source, go ahead. Yep.
Go ahead.
I would like to have a. I would like to talk to Kaimana.
Right.
Yes.
What are the parameters of your objection to killing? For example, is it sentient creatures only that you object to? Is it all creatures? Are there extenuating circumstances that allow this without you feeling guilt?
Well, we didn't even try to talk to them.
We cannot change the past. I'm trying
We
to
tried
learn
to
from
talk
the
to the
future.
kobolds. We made them seem reason. We just waded into these people.
There's a fight going on, so there wasn't the altercation had already started, so there wasn't as much of an opportunity to talk. But I'm trying to learn for the future what parameters you have so that I can stay within them. Such as talk first.
If they have the capacity to know that what they're doing is wrong, we owe it to them to at least try once to stop them from doing what they're doing.
That makes sense. Seems very reasonable. If we give them the opportunity and they fail to take it, do you then object to killing?
All bets are off.
That too seems reasonable. I can work with this.
Did I answer your question?
Yes. Do you have any questions of me?
How old are you?
I remember the last 2 years. Before that, I was just a regular rat and had no concept of time.
Okay, this conversation makes a lot more sense now.
Okay.
If you have any further questions like that, Saurus, feel free to ask.
And so I shall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kaimana, did you take the tongs? I need them.
They're by the mortar and pestle.
Oh, fine.
Where's the burner?
You're sitting on it.
No, I'm not. No, it's not here. Mar! Where's the burner?
I don't know.
This has turned into Bob's Burgers.
This is why
48
it
hours of that.
this is why it took you an extra 2 hours each day to make the potions.
Yes,
Source
what?
would also like to have a conversation with Marlowe.
Okay.
Not while she's working, somewhere private.
Okay, and so at some point, like, after their work is done for the day, you can probably find a quiet space to the one-on-one.
Earlier, when I said it was excellent that you could turn into a wolf at will, you said no. May I ask why?
I don't like doing that. So I'd rather not.
In that case, may I ask why you turned into one last night?
Oh, so when it's a full moon, I have to.
Ah,
But yeah, that's the only time that it's not, by choice, I guess.
so if we are somewhere and it's going to be a full moon, we need to take arrangements to secrete you, basically hide you, or cover for you?
Yeah, I'd rather not do it out in the open, if you know what I mean.
Do we need to lock you in, or just place you somewhere safe?
I usually can handle it okay. I've been supposed to be practicing with it. I don't do that. I hate it. So it's usually fine, but there's always the risk, you know.
I understand. Thank you.
But if it's if it's a really bad fight and it looks like we need it, I would.
That is good to know. I think that's an excellent strategy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have any questions of me?
Do you know what a lycanthrope is at all?
Yes, it was discussed in the lab where I was made.
Okay.
I wasn't supposed to understand what they were saying, but I believe they used some knowledge of that to help make me into into an anthropomorphic form versus my original rat form.
Really?
So in some ways I may be part were-rat, only permanently transfigured.
Interesting.
I thought so.
Do you know where this all happened? Like where this lab was?
It was in the rift in Hightower. Hidden away.
Okay.
It no longer exists. I took care of that.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. But I guess the guy who made you is still maybe out there?
Yes, that is the bishop.
Right.
So in the cave with the kobolds, the figure that was painted, that was him. And why I'm eager to discuss with the messenger that comes to where he might be.
Yeah. Well, we'll get him eventually.
I hope so.
Mar, roll a history check.
21.
When he mentions the messenger, you recall the letter that you picked up from Soren, in which Soren had received a letter from Ahriman that discussed him going to be the one to pick up the items from the kobold.
Okay. I relay that information.
Because yeah, I remember in the conversation you read the letter and then you said you handed it to Soros, but I don't know. I'm not sure if Soros ever read it. So that's
Yeah,
I did not read the language it was in.
I will.
oh, it's the other letter, the one that was written in common. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just say that out loud.
Okay.
For both of us.
Yeah.
To remember.
That is good to know.
Yeah.
I don't know who that was.
That was me.
Oh, okay.
My headset mic is because I flip it up and down so
Oh,
often.
yeah, yeah.
One of the cables is
Yeah.
worked a little loose.
Oh no.
All right.
I'm trying to make sure y'all don't hear me eating cheese.
Oh, that's okay. On brand.
Very good.
I thought so.
All right. Any further conversation that you all want to have, or Source Kaimana? Mar?
This is gonna sound weird. I would like to have a conversation. I know, very off-brand.
With who?
With everybody.
Wisdom saving throw. No, okay, go ahead. Make a
no,
charisma saving throw.
Like if we're like at dinner or something, and
Okay.
it like goes quiet for a moment.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I'm sorry I didn't like tell you guys about all that.
It makes perfect sense why you didn't.
I understand.
I've actually never had to tell anyone before. People just kind of knew, or they didn't. So.
Well, we fall in that category. We didn't, and now we do. You're amazingly consistent.
Are you the
Do my
only one of
best.
your kind in your order?
No. My order is it's called the Order of the Lycan, right? So they're all like me.
Yeah, right there.
Wait,
down there. I
What
think
did,
around you they would.
do they all live in the same place?
Well, there's a base, right? And then, you know, people get sent out to go on missions or whatever. It's not like a congregate. Like, I don't want you to think like every lycanthrope, you know, goes to the deep wood to join this place. It's
But there is somewhere in the deep wood with like 50 lycanthropes in it.
no, the numbers are really bad right now. They're working on it. They're trying to build up the ranks. A lot of people are on missions. It's really complicated. And it's very so it's complicated. They're pretty controversial because they believe the best way to fight the veil and the things that come out of it is through harnessing not only blood magic but lycanthropy. So they give the bite.
They are turning people into lycans against them.
No. I mean, you have to like join the ranks and like, you know, by consent. They're not that bad.
It is, to be honest, it is a bit worrisome that this is going on. What
I
types
know.
of people are being recruited to become lycan?
I mean, honestly, I haven't seen them recruit enough people to see a pattern.
Yeah, there was only one other recruit when you were there.
Yeah. But
If it is by their choice, then I don't see the problem with it, as long as it is by their choice.
So, do you control this transformation?
yeah, I mean, when you master it enough, you do. You can have the between state, right? It's just on the full moons where it's worse.
But there is potential for people to lose control.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. The order like considers it this great gift, right? And it's a fucking curse, you know.
Are there druids in the order?
Are the druids in the order?
Roll a history check.
10?
You've never met a druid at Romulus Keep.
Not that I know of.
Excuse me.
With a 10 though, you would remember like that there are like the wardens, who is like the
Right.
the overarching organization that the Order of the Lycan is like loosely attached to.
Yeah.
They are run by druids.
Yes. Okay.
Cool.
We work with some druids adjacently, so.
Is there a cure for the bite? Have you heard of anyone ever leaving the order and being cured?
No. There is no known cure for lycanthropy. And the order would pretty much kick out if anybody who looks for one, much less found one and took it. Or worse. I really don't know what they would do, honestly.
Or worse?
I don't
Is
know. I mean, I
We
I
can
don't
keep an
want
eye
to
out.
you throw my order under the bus, but sometimes they're good people. They feel like a cult, but they're good people.
Are you wanting to become a lycanthrope, Abel?
Don't
The
do
exact.
it.
I don't know if I trust this order at all.
Do not do it. It is literally the worst thing that ever happened to me.
You were bitten, so you were not born this way.
Do you have to be human?
No.
Do you want to become a lycanthrope?
I could do everything that she can do already.
Yeah, no, you can do everything I can do with none of the drawbacks. I would keep that. I was bitten long before I joined the order. Just kind of found me and were like, "Oh hey, a werewolf, join," and I did.
But now I'm curious if there are Lutrindian lycanthropes.
Oh. Go ahead and roll a history check, Kaimana.
I don't have the best history with these rolls, but we'll see. 10.
So you have never heard the term lycanthrope thrown around within your community. There are legends, however, of ancient otters that had the ability to manifest shark-like appearances.
Oh, they're like the. I can't remember what they're called.
Land shark.
Shark Boy.
Candygram.
It's Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Flowers.
So Mark. Thank you for that, Atwood.
Oh,
Those of you of a certain age will appreciate what Kaimana has been giving us.
I think by the end of the conversation, Abel will walk away very unsure on how he feels about Mars order. Very uneasy.
It's all shades of gray, Abel.
He's
By the way, I'm colorblind.
maybe correct. This is gold. Oh, comedy gold. What is happening?
What's color?
Oh, man.
I just came up with that. I'm sorry.
No,
Very
it was
good.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Don't apologize.
You just felt the need.
I don't know if otters actually are. I'll look it up later.
I don't know. Yeah, that makes me want to Google.
We can do that on break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we take both of our knights already?
So
Her order now.
okay, so that would sacrifice one part of your, depending on how much time you want to dedicate to research. It would cut into some of your time. So right now you're dedicating 8 hours. but well, that's only one day. So if you wanted to do some research on the second day, you could. Yep.
Yeah,
I kind of pictured this as the dinner after the first full day of stuff.
That works. And then so yeah, you guys have time to kind of like mellow on your own to rethink things. So on the second day, Abel, if you want to do some research into her order, you can.
I want to say condition. I want to be offensive, but condition.
So okay, so you want to research lycanthropy and also the order of the lichen. Okay, go ahead and roll 2 intelligence checks.
I can do that for you.
And if you ask a librarian, then you can roll with advantage.
Can I ask a fox?
Do you want? Okay, so you seek out a librarian, who and their little fox familiar-esque entities next to them. Do you just speak directly to the fox?
You said 2.
Yeah.
One is for 16.
Okay, 16 for the first one. Okay, what was the second one?
18 plus 4, 22.
Okay, so for the first one, lycanthropy, you discover what Mar is saying is true. There are creatures that were really like basically during the subversion, there were dire wolves that were spent time kind of passing forth between the Vale and the Deepwood, and then like back into the Vale and into the Deepwood, and over time those Vale energies morphed them into something else, and they became the first werewolves to set foot in Alyria. And during the subversion, they were a terrible force that tore through armies and left behind after the armies were retreated, or even after they won the battle, days later, weeks later, their forces would transform and go off in search to join the other side. And so it was almost like this plague that was spreading among the military that was defending the Riverlands. And so that's how lycanthropy was birthed. Their werewolves are heavily hunted by the wardens, and one of the things the wardens try to do is control the spread. They believe that they mostly have any wild werewolf populations limited to deep within the Deepwood where nobody goes, or there's a group far in the northern reaches in what's called Nomad's Rise, where there's another group that they feel like they've isolated enough to prevent any kind of spread or infection. So that's what you learn about lycanthropy.
Yeah, is there anything about people who've researched cures for it, or?
In all the readings that you find, lycanthropy has no cure. The only thing that is a cure for lycanthropy is death.
That seems a bit extreme.
And so typically when a werewolf is found, it is put down, not anything like that. Your search for the order of the lichen, you said an 18?
Plus 4.
Oh, was it for? Okay, so 22.
Yeah, 22.
Okay,
Yeah, 22.
so the 22 is definitely what you needed to find any reference at all about them.
Jesus.
So in your search for the orders, you discover let me pull up really quickly the wardens. So you discover that there are three orders mentioned. 2 of them are much more kind of respected and out in the open. They're an order of ghost slayers who focus on putting down spirits that are unsettled. And they actually work very closely with the remaining orcs, who are known as gravekeepers. And as a work, the gravekeepers or grave tenders practice the magics and the attributes of the fallen god, who is the god of death, so that those spirits don't rise again. And so the Order of the Ghost Slayer works very closely with them. There's another organization called the Order of the Mutant, which is a little terrifying to a lot of people, but is very effective at putting down aberrations and like beasts that are mutated or things like that, focusing on those elements. In passing, there is a reference to a third order in the Deepwood. It mentions a location called Romulus Keep. And it's the only thing that it mentions in this text that was written maybe 75 or 80 years ago, is that this order was new, and that it was the author who was kind of discussing things with leaders within the other orders. They were talking about whether or not the order should be allowed to continue its existence. They were talking about whether or not they should put it down, because the very nature of keeping a werewolf or keeping a group of werewolves pet almost in order to inflict others with what they view as a curse was seen as potentially extreme and potentially incredibly dangerous in containing the werewolf curse. But other than that, you don't learn anything else about the Order of the Lycan. It doesn't even call itself the Order of the Lycan. It just mentions a third order and werewolves.
Yeah. So the other members of the orders were thinking about
putting it, like, wiping it out.
Okay.
It was a point where the order at the keep was trying to establish itself as a third order to work with the wardens. And they were so kind of off-put by what was happening there that they weren't sure if they even wanted them to be members, or whether they should still survive.
But they did.
Sometimes you learn that dark weapons can be used for good, hopefully.
Yes, I guess we'll keep hope alive.
All right.
Cool.
By the way,
thanks to you.
In a study in 2014, one otter could discriminate blue versus green and blue versus red, but not red versus green. Basically, they can see.
They're dichromats.
Basically, they can discriminate gray from white, green, blue, and red, but not a lot of other shades. So
red, green, colorblind.
They are.
I can only vote for 2 political parties.
Dichromatic. Nice. All right. So for your 2 days of downtime, we've got some things constructed, some conversations had. Anything else that you guys want to manage in those 2 days?
I do want to send another message to Kellyanne really
All right,
quick.
so you do have a second message you can send. Go ahead.
Yeah. I didn't open a portal of devils. They did.
24 hours later.
Some device.
Soren, the Tide Waters.
Associated with Tide Waters. Full moon went fine. Ate an elk. Good stuff.
No. Good stuff.
The response takes a little bit more time. This is the second time the Tide Waters have popped up in your messages to me. The coast is far outside of our bounds, but perhaps the mutants might like to take a look at this. I'll contact the other orders. And so that's what she says. So that's the return. So good.
Cool. That's all I needed.
All right. Anything else that you guys want to do in your downtime?
Nope.
All right. So before, in just a moment, we'll go ahead and take our 10 minutes. But on the second night at dark, as Abel, you are laying down for a nap, or to go to bed, or to do whatever you do when you go to lay down in your bed.
Leave his hobbies out of this.
Yes, but it's not that show. So you kind of lay down for a moment and you close your eyes and you hear a voice in your head. And you immediately recognize the voice. And it is the voice of your mother. And she says,
Are you talking to me?
Abel! Yes, Jesus.
I'm sorry, I was reading through my spells and stuff.
You gotta pay attention.
I'm-
You about to miss it. You about to miss.
I picture that actually being what happened.
Are you talking to me? Yeah.
He's like studying the spell book. He's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's nobody actually in the room with me.
Yeah. And this is the first time that your mother has ever sent you a sending spell, but you knew she had the ability. But you hear her voice come in, and she goes, "Oh my darling little Abel, it is so good to see you or to hear you. I hope that you can hear my voice. I've been thinking about you this last 3 weeks, sending you love. There's a surprise coming for you. I love you." And that's the end of her message.
Okay.
And you can respond to this message.
I will take a moment to gather my thoughts because I'm supposed to be at the Violet Cloister, and I am not. And I'm disappointed that I have decided to put my education on hold. So
It's a gap year.
The next
I
one.
want
will
to
be
myself.
I want to, yes, put some miles on my soul. I will say, hello, mother.
Hello,
I'm
Father. Here I am at.
You beat me to it.
Amana is on a roll tonight. Call him Butter. He is on a roll.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Hello, mother. I'm excited to hear from you. Where are you sending this gift? I miss you and love you very much.
All right. You have like 5 words. So you have 4 words left if you wanted to finish anything else.
I counted 3 words left.
Oh, okay. Yep. Are you pooping? No. So, good.
This is not that kind of a show.
There's a kind of a moment passes, and you hear the chime come in again, and she goes, "I know that you did not make it to school. I know where you are. Love you."
Busted.
Uneasy for the rest.
All right. So uneasily, Abel goes to sleep, knowing that mothers always find out the truth. All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll take our 10-minute break, and we will come back on the morning of the arrival of the guildmaster, and so seeing whatever Roland will have planned for that situation. So we'll go ahead and take 10, and we'll be right back.
Thank you,
Thank
Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Going up headset.
All right, cool. All right, all right. So welcome back from the break. So leaving the ticket takers after a couple days of downtime, you all awake on the third day, still at the monastery, but there's a kind of a hurried knock at one of the doors of where you're staying. Let's say Mar. There's this knock at the door, and this is kind of what brings you awake in the morning.
Yeah, I'll open the door.
Okay, you open it, and standing there is Roland, and he is dressed in his finest, most extravagant regalia, and he's just like, oh, good. I was afraid that you all had just completely left town and had forgotten what day it was. You do know that the guildmaster is coming today, correct?
Yep, I remember.
Okay, so he will be here at noon.
Okay.
If you can all be in Broadfield at that time, I'm sure you would love to shake his hand. He would like to shake your hand. You have to sign the guild charter. So please, this is really very, very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, just breathe. It's gonna be fine. It's all gonna work out, bud.
Okay, I trust that you will let everybody else know, correct? I don't need to go around and let everybody else know.
No, certainly not. You go, do what you do, and we'll meet you there.
Okay, thank you. I trust you, Marlowe. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
And
go drink some milk from your nose.
he turns and he kind of skedaddles as quickly as he can back out of the monastery. You see, eventually, like he rode a horse into town, and he finds a horse and he tears off back the 2 miles to Broadfield. So
With the horse he rode in on.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah, I'll gather the rest of them and be like, all right, Roland wants us to be there at noon, so.
Gather your party.
Did he say he wanted us to, like, wear something fancy?
He didn't mention it. I mean, if you want to go on a quick shopping trip.
Well, no, I have a white loincloth and a blue one.
Oh,
Which one's the fancier one?
The blue one's cleaner.
All right, I would wear that one.
Okay. The white one just shows dirt so well.
Right, yeah. I mean, understandably.
Tell me about it. So I'm dressed in all white.
All right. Well, anything we want to do before we head off?
I think it's time to grab some pocket bacon and go.
Bacon.
the morning smorgasbord that has been prepared every day you've been at the monastery is there, and monks are gathering their things, so you can grab all the food that you'd like, and then
Grab and eat on the road.
yeah. And the last couple days, the chill that had set in over the course of the day of Ascension has kind of lifted a little bit. And the weather, while it's a brisk early spring morning, the sun is bright in the sky. There's not a heavy wind. It's beautiful and blue. And your short, couple hour jaunt from the monastery to Broadfield is peaceful along the riverbank, and you make it back into town without any kind of issue. As you come back into the main section, the central portion of town, where it had been set up for the guild festivities just over a week ago, we're on like day 10 now, and the pavilion is still there, where the bards performed during the competition. The town has since hung some more banners and pennants up in the town area, so it's a little bit more colorful and lively. And in front of the pavilion there are kind of benches set up. You assume that this will probably be where the official signing of the charter and things will be. And Roland is running around the town square like a man with his head cut off, and just kind of bouncing from place to place and like telling people to put it there, and this bouquet of flowers goes there, and no, Darkon doesn't like lilies. I told you no lilies. It must be the roses, please. And he's kind of addressing things, and Joss is just kind of like on stage singing for no reason, and being completely unhelpful to her husband, and enjoying every moment of it. So this is kind of the scene as you arrive, and the moment Roland sees you, he runs over and he's like, "Thank God that you've arrived. Ma did tell you it's at noon. Correct? Yes, of course. I trust Ma, right? She did tell you?
Yes.
Okay, good. Darkon should be arriving. He said that he's always a very punctual man, apparently, but his cart and his caravan will be arriving around a little before noon, in the hour before, and then the ceremony will begin at noon sharp. And it's such a big day. We've been working so hard for this. I know I have, and of course you as well, yes, have dedicated so much energy and time and money. So thank you. If you need
Do we
anything...
start on stage, or do we make an entrance?
Oh God, I forgot
At
to
noon.
put together programs. He like goes he runs up and asks Joss a question really quickly, and then like you see him like kind of arguing back and forth with her, and then he comes back and she's like, okay, Joss says that I do not need to print programs, but she does say that I should have an order of events, but really I wasn't sure. So I will say some words, and then oh God, which one of you? Marlo. Oh, Kaimana. Kaimana? Okay, Kaimana will say some words.
You wanted. Sorry, hold on. You wanted me to say some words?
Well, I want the Adventurers Guild to have a certain image, and, you present a certain image.
She does present a certain image, a strong, silent, deadly type, with an emphasis on the strong, the silent, and the deadly.
That is a good point. Will you stand very menacingly behind Kaimana while Kaimana gives his words?
You didn't even have to ask.
Very nice. He writes that down. Oh, okay. We will get you a stool, and he takes another note, and he says, and then Darkon will do the thing. We'll sign the charter, and it will be official. And then it's just off. I'll have to go off to Anavir to register and do all of that kind of paperwork. So I'll be out for a week or so, perhaps in the capital city. But so much to do today. Thank you. And he kind of goes off and he's
Did Sora show up?
Oh, yes. She was. Oh, she should be around. And he's looking around, and she's like, she was helping me set up benches, but I don't see her.
That's all right. That's all we needed to know.
Okay. Yes, and so he dashes off to put things together. You do see he says something to somebody, and a stool is brought up to the stage and set in front, kind of in the center of the stage, in preparation for Kaimana, and so it's kind of there. So it's probably like 10 o'clock, so you guys have an hour before any of the people are supposed to arrive, supposedly. So
It's an hour till call.
yeah, so you have an hour. So if there's anything in town that you wanted to look around for or do in that time.
I think you should wear a sash, Kaimana.
Where would I get one?
Do you want my scarf?
What color is it?
It's red.
Okay, I can see that.
Do you want it?
Yes.
All right, give me a second.
Good
And
contrast.
I'll take a minute. When I pull the scarf aside, my shirt's a little bit unbuttoned. It's a collared shirt, a little unbuttoned here, and you can see the beginnings of a really big scar there. But then I just button up the shirt and then give you the scarf. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You look delightful.
Thank you for being our spokesman, Kaimana.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
I think we have an hour. I think I want to go and try to unload some of these equipment pieces that we got from our unfortunate brethren. Or unless somebody needs scale mail armor, a mace, and a shield.
You probably gave the mace back to Sora.
Oh, it was her mace?
Yeah, it was her mace.
From her? Oh, yeah, I'll probably give it back to her. Sorry.
I think the armor might have been hers too.
Yeah, I think
It was.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you gave all that
Okay,
back.
never mind. I gave it back to her.
Okay.
I was going to sell it, but no.
The only store that you know of is the general store, and the owner of the store is currently singing and dancing on a stage that no one is watching her do. So
I did.
she's living her best life.
It's really poetic.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the Golden Ass Tavern and get some milk.
All right. So you go in, and interestingly enough, when you walk in, the moment you open the door and enter, you hear, "Thank you for joining us at the Golden." Oh, it's you. And Tavik Tavik is behind the counter, and he has he still is not wearing a shirt with like his giant muscular form and his tattoos and everything, but he's now got like a waist apron on, and he's like rubbing the counter, and he's like, I got in trouble and Sora told me that I should be the bartender, but literally nobody ever comes here to shop or buy food or drink. So I've done nothing but polish the bar for the last 5 hours.
Sounds like an easy job. Don't complain too much.
The goal is, as the Adventurer Guild grows, clientele will grow. So you're polishing now, but you will be a successful bartender.
I would like to go hit things with my axe sometime too, though.
We can arrange that. And
Okay.
if it's a rowdy crowd, perhaps some people will need to be bodily thrown from the inn.
Oh.
Defenestrated.
Oh.
Defenestrated. That sounds very painful. Is that
Invites
what
being
is?
thrown out a window.
Okay.
Not a
and,
very high window, I hope.
and so he's like that sounds like a better job. What could I get you since this is now my job?
Some milk, please.
Okay. And he's like, and so he goes back and he gets a flagon of milk for you and passes it on. And he tries to slide it across the counter and it sloshes, but then he just wipes it back up. So
It's going to give him something to do. So
Yep.
perfect.
Yep.
Do you care for anything, Kamana?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
All right.
I think you should have a beer after the ceremony.
God. Kaimana's just like beer. All right. So
Not before a
oh.
speech.
yeah. All right. So over the course of the next hour, if anybody wants to do, Abel, at some point, you probably find your way outside, and Roland is running around very nervously, and he says like, they haven't spotted Darkon's party on the road yet, so surely he won't be late. This is very odd. And at that moment, you're kind of like looking over his shoulder. You see a speck off in the distance, like up in the air. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
I can do that. I'll get to the correct screen. 13 plus 2, 15.
Okay. It's a little bit far in the distance, but as it's approaching closer, you immediately realize that there's an airship approaching Broadfield.
Oh.
Is the airship tower finished?
No.
I immediately get very nervous, and I will just roll and head back into the gilded ass.
Okay. Roland's just like
myself on the other side of the door.
okay. And so as you're going in, at some point, Roland turns around and he goes, "Is that a bloody airship?" And he just like taking off in the other direction. So then you go into the tavern, leaving poor Roland outside, figuring this out.
Have we seen Sora at any point?
So over the course of the hour, at some point, Sora like opened the door, saw Tavik standing there, and then closed the door and went back outside.
I'm going to go find her.
Okay. So you go outside where she is, and you do find her. She's in the center of the square, and she's in the process of taking all of the roses out of all of the bouquets and putting lilies back into the bouquets.
I ask her if she has any soporifics or tranquilizers.
Any
In
what?
case I get too mouthy.
Soporifics or tranquilizers.
Oh, I mean, I've got and she holds up her mace, and this works.
A little too tranquil. I was trying to figure out if we could give something to Roland so that his head doesn't explode when the airship arrives.
Oh, good luck with that. She reaches into her, like a little pack at her back, and she pulls out a flask. And she says, this is the strongest that they make. And she hands it over to you. And, like, she unscrews the top a little bit, and just, like, not even, like, pulling the top of the flask off, but just the action of unscrewing it, the smell of alcohol is so strong pouring from it. It's almost like just basically, like, 100%, like, isopropyl, like, in your face.
It's Everclear.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a shot of Everclear? You see vapor trails.
Yeah. She said, one good solid swig from that would knock Tovik on his ass. Sir Roland would need about a half swig.
But we don't need him smelling like alcohol.
That's true.
Perhaps next time.
Okay.
Perhaps we should find something from the next time an alchemist comes through, or perhaps you can get Marlowe or Kaimana to brew something up to calm his nerves that you can slide into his milk without him knowing.
Like a little bit of watered down sleeping draught, perhaps.
Something like that, yes.
Cool. And she takes a sip of her flask and then puts it back in her bag. You know, he told me that they were supposed to be roses. Fuck him.
Why don't you make it half and half? That'll really drive him nuts.
Oh, that's brilliant. And she goes, and she starts putting some of the roses back.
I go back in.
All right. So at some point, Roland rushes back into the tavern and says, the airship is just circling town. I don't know. And he rushes back out again. And so you guys are in there just watching him, like, come in and out a couple times and freaking out a little bit.
Yep, got nothing for him.
Nope. Eventually, like, the noon bell rings at the temple, and, like, a good solid amount of time goes after the noon bell, and finally Roland comes back in, and his beautifully ornate outfit is just stained. It looks like he may have fell in the mud. He's sweaty and sloppy, and he just says, finally, we found a field, and the airship is in the field. If you would all like to go and join me as we welcome the arrival, it is the royal, or one of the royal airships, so please, your faces might make this a little bit easier. Okay.
Absolutely.
So he guides you. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh, no, you're fine.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So he guides you guys out of town, and kind of outside of the city gates on the opposite side of, like, the stream that runs and then connects with the river, there is a very large airship kind of set down in this field, and you can see that, like, this has some kind of landing gear it's supporting it or propping it up, and the engine, like, there's these two large crystals on either side that are slightly pulsing with this bluish light, and you kind of hear this dull hum that's slowly getting quieter and quieter, and eventually it kind of ceases, and then a gangplank is dropped from the top, and some crew members are coming out and tying the ship down with some ropes and pylons, and then eventually a couple figures walk out. And the first figure that you see is a very tall, brawny, older gentleman of half-orc origin. And he's kind of a tealish color skin tone, and his head is shaved completely, and he's wearing incredibly detailed leather kind of armor. There's a symbol on his chest of crossed hammers, and he's got a cloak over his shoulder, and he's coming down, and, like,
Is
the
it
first,
over one shoulder or full on the
yeah,
back?
it's kind of just on one side.
Okay,
And then
that's
there's
important.
and then there's there's a chain that connects it over to another side, but he's kind of this, and he comes out first, and he saunters with almost like a military or whatever kind of swagger to him, but he kind of comes down, and the first thing you hear is like his booming voice, and he's just like, at some point somebody should have probably told me that there was no aerodrome, because I would not have commissioned a flight to a town that had an aerodrome. Somebody probably should have told me. And the moment he says that, Roland like falls behind you a little bit, and it uses your bodies as hiding from that. And so he kind of descends. He's like, "Who am I supposed to be talking to? Where's that Roland? This is the one I've been."
Here.
There he is, and he says,
You beat me to it.
"Yeah." And so
I have a feeling Marlowe helps with that one.
yeah.
Oh
And-
yeah, we all just like part, and then like Roland's just left in the middle.
And so he comes. He says, yes, Darkon, Mr. Cerulean. Yes, I presume." And Darkon like taps the thing, and he says, "This is the only guild master logo that anybody gets. I'm Darkon Cerulean. I assume that you're Roland." And and then at that moment, Abel, you're distracted because there is another figure descending down the gangplank, and all of you maybe enjoying the Schadenfreude of Roland having told literally everybody that there was an aerodrome in Broadfield. May or may not notice Abel as he sees this man descending from the gangplank. Tall, muscularly built, wearing relatively simple robes, but of a very similar make and design to Abel's. There's a similar necklace across his neck of a similar color and a tone of beads. There's a hammer at his waist, kind of like strapped to his hip. And the moment he clears the top of the gangplank, you hear he calls out, and he says, "My little one, your gift has arrived." And Abel, you see the familiar figure of Oguana Oboye, your father. Obioye, your father.
It's my father. I'm very excited to see my father.
Okay. And so he comes down the gangplank, and he comes forward and immediately kind of rushes towards you and gives you a big hug. He says, "I hope that your mother did not ruin the surprise."
I had no idea that you were coming, father. I'm so glad to see you.
Good. Darkon, we were in a meeting with the Curia Regis, and Darkon said that he was coming to visit you in the event, or coming to the Adventurers Guild, and your name popped up. And so I knew that I had to come see my son take his place.
Did you tell mother that I was here?
Of course. I'm so proud of you. You look at you. What have you accomplished? Look what you've done.
You may be proud. She may be disappointed that I'm not at the Violet Cloister reading dusty books right now.
She get over it. Your mother worries too much.
Well, I am very happy to see you. These are my new associates and friends. We have started the new guild in Broadfield together.
Oh, so you all must be the ticket takers.
Yes.
Okay,
Pleasure to meet
he
you,
reaches
sir.
out and shakes each of your hands, and the moment, like he's dressed very, not like beautifully, not like ornately like in the way that Roland dresses. He's dressed in a way that anybody who knows it knows that there's money behind this dress, and there is an emblem on his chest of what appears to like kind of this like half circular emblem with an island underneath it, and there's an airship kind of on the top of the island, which is the symbol of the Noavian royal fleet. And he's kind of wearing that, and when he shakes your hand though, the hand is calloused and rough. Like, these are hands that have experienced years and years and years of very hard work and hard labor. And it's kind of clear, maybe perhaps, that the hammer at his side is not for show. It's something that he uses regularly. And so when he shakes you, he greets you both, he greets each of you individually. He's just like, he shakes Saurus's hand and says, "So nice to meet you. I cannot wait to hear all the stories of your journeys with my son." And then to Mar, and he shakes your hand and he says, "You look like you can wield those blades with very great efficiency." And then goes to Kaimana and shakes your hand and he says, "Oh, Luthinian, I have lived in Noevia for so long and have always wanted to go to the Vanishing Isles to meet your people. Such a pleasure." And
Well, we
shakes
came to you.
Oh, shakes your hand, and I can't wait to talk to you. And he says, "But Abel, I've got one more surprise." And he whistles, and at that moment, you, Abel, make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh God. Just live my life. Saving throw.
Yep.
I'm not proficient in dex. Oh, an 8 + 1.
So the moment you turn, clod, like right in your face, a dirt clod smashes across your face and goes whatever. And now you've got like kind of dirt in your face, and you just hear this like ringing laughter from the top of the gangplank, and prancing down the gangplank in like a loose chainmail, but also like a very beautiful cloak, blonde hair plaited on one shoulder, and a circlet across her forehead, and she's just like, "Oh God, you're still just as bad at dodging things as you always have been." And coming down the gangplank, Abel, is Alyria. Not Alana, which is the one that we've met before. Alyria, and your childhood friend.
Yes. And I'll say, still just as ladylike as ever, throwing dirt.
Oh, please, leave ladylike for those who don't have things to do or business to be. I will be woman enough to knock you down if I have to.
Mars in love, isn't she?
And as this figure approaches, what you all see, a youngish, probably around 18, 19 years old, maybe a little older than Abel, human female, blonde hair, very, not like, oh, she's a 10, like beauty, but just like this, like strong presence, clear, bright eyes, but also like weirdly strong, and like her shoulders are well defined. Like this is a woman who spends time doing some kind of hard work or hard labor. As she gets closer, you see like there's a lot of her coloration of the clothing she's wearing is violet in color, but she does have a symbol that looks like a forge, kind of clasping a little cloak to her body, and that's kind of prominently displayed. But she walks up, and there's hints of wealth. The braid is bound by a golden clasp that's very clearly golden. She's wearing jeweled earrings in either ear, and she has some bracelets that are very not flashy but clearly worth money, but other than that, she carries herself in a very normal way beyond that.
But she's wearing chainmail.
Like a very light, almost like not like elven chain, but like very light, almost like it looks kind of like it was decorative in some kind of way. It probably would be effective as mail, but not like heavy.
What the palace guards wear when it's show off time.
Yes, very much so. And so she's like, "Oh, so you are all the poor souls that have had to listen to Abel drone on about whatever he's been talking about for the last 2 or 3 weeks or so. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Alyria. I just dropped her last name. Alyria Bellinor." And immediately, Mar, your ears perk up. Bellinor, probably the most well-known name in all of Alyria. That is the crown. That's the name of the crown.
Oh. I do a little bow.
Oh, no. Please don't. That's for my brother, and he appreciates those things. I do not. Please, Alyria, Let's pretend my last name doesn't exist while I'm here.
Okay.
Yes. You should not have the last name of royalty if you do not know how to act like royalty.
Ugh, please, don't live in a castle if you don't know how to even, like, I don't know, talk to the guards or have a conversation with somebody that doesn't involve reading a book.
I live in the Mage Tower, not the castle.
The castle is attached to the Mage Tower.
Oh, we are not having this conversation right now.
Okay.
Everyone, this is my friend, Alyria. We grew close. She is betrothed to the Prince of Nuevia,
Ugh.
and in her time there, we grew to be friends.
Yes, let's
Right,
talk.
my-
Insight check.
Who are you insight checking? Abel?
Okay?
Okay.
When they say we grew to be friends.
Oh, okay.
Insight check.
Okay. Go ahead and roll, and then
A natural 1. So I got nothing.
nothing. Yeah.
We are
They are.
solid friends.
It's really weird. They talk about being friends, but they also really sound like they don't like each other at all.
It is a love-hate
So more like brothers and sisters.
And around this moment, Alyria like looks down and realizes that there's a small little otterkin like looking up and staring at her, and she's just like, "Oh my God, it's a Luchinian! Hello, oh, what's your name?
My name is Kaimana.
Oh my goodness, you are. Is it rude to say that you're adorable?
No, I
Oh
guess.
my God, you're so adorable, and you're part of this group as well. That's amazing.
Yes, I came up with the name.
You came up with the name of the group?
Yes.
Oh, I was afraid that Abel had come up with the name, but I like it so much better now.
Abel's was good, but mine was better.
That's to be expected,
He is the brains of the operation.
obviously. Well, I should be studying right now. I've got some tests coming up, but your father said that he was coming to visit you, and I just had to see what you've been doing with yourself for the last 3 weeks without me.
I've been traveling around the area, helping many of the townspeople and making new and interesting friends.
Well, I can't wait to hear all about it. And at this point, Darkon and Roland have figured out whatever their issues are. And Darkon says, "Well, we are about half an hour past where we should be, thanks to the mess up with the aerodrome. But we'll push back till 1 o'clock. So at 1 o'clock we'll do the signing ceremony. Feel free." To make your way over there. Roland has told me where it is, and I will make sure that things will actually work the way they're supposed to. And Darkon kind of walks off, and Oguan like kind of looks over and he's like, "This is literally the worst man you could ever think that you would like to travel with." He talks like that all the time.
Have you met Roland? He is a special type of annoying.
I'm not here to meet him. I just want to see my son and see his friends, my little one. And he pulls you over and kind of puts his arm across your shoulder, Abel, and he says, "Oh, so grown up. I remember when I used to just hold you, and so I've missed my son. Ugh, let a dad love his child."
Are all families like this?
Oh, in Nuevia, yes, I hope so. Oh, yours were as well. I would love to hear about your family too.
I'll be happy to tell you.
Well, after this
You make our way to
ceremony,
the ceremony.
yes, after the ceremony, we should have dinner and we should all discuss and talk about it.
I look at Marlowe because they're talking about family. Make eye contact with her.
Mar looks really sad.
Oh,
Like, not going to have a lot to contribute to this conversation. You
No.
got nothing either. No.
all right.
No.
And so with the troop and some unexpected guests from Abel's backstory pulled into the mix. We'll go ahead and end there today and pick up with the ceremony and all of this next week.
Excellent.
Awesome. So thank you so much. Great work today. I loved it, guys. Yeah.
Josh, did you know about the cape actually meaning something? If it was on one shoulder versus... Okay, good.
Yeah, and for like reference, like Alyria is very much Roman in stuff. So I'm pulling a lot from like centurions and things. Yep.
Oh.
Like, cause whatever Rome is it the city of seven hills? Seven hills.
Yes.
Rome? Yeah. Alyria is like the city of 9 hills. So there's a lot of cross there.
Oh, look at that. Sully was looking like directly into the camera at one point.
Oh,
It was
Sully.
nervy.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna punch out, guys. Have
All
a
right.
good
See you,
one.
Kamana. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right.
That was nice work tonight, Atwood.
Yeah. So good.
Very good.
All right.
Yeah, good session.
Yeah. Great session. A lot of fun.
See y'all later.
See ya.